we've got a new thing, if you like to call it a new thing. You can contact the studio, nftvstudio@gmail.com, if you want to get a question to the guys about anything. It can be Newcastle, it can be Premier League, it can be about Rob's cricket, anything you like.
Please no cricket, because Kyle? Because these two are cricket mad.
Completely.
We'll whack up the wheel.
Cricket is not an option, I'm afraid.
So yes, it's NFTV, so Newcastle Fans TV, nftvstudio@gmail.com is the email address if you want to contact us while the show is on. So part 1 is obviously about the game yesterday. Liverpool 3, Newcastle 1 at Anfield. What a start, Kyle Thompson. Jetro Willems decides to put a little bit of skill from his left foot to his right foot just inside the box and unleashes an unbelievable effort, which Adrian has absolutely no chance. It was an incredible start.
It was an unbelievable start, and to be fair, when he cut in onto his right foot, I thought he messed up the turn. So I was thinking, God, he showed too much of the ball to Arnold. But the unbelievable strike that he has, and it just flies into the top corner. You probably know yourself, Johnny, the limbs when that goal went in, it was just utter.
Your hooliganism came out.
It's not hooliganism.
It is.
Away from home
I'm
against
sorry,
the European champions,
Johnny's
96 points last season. We'll go 1-0 up at Anfield. That never happens. I'm sorry, but
I've experienced it. Johnny's experienced it.
John,
Just lips and everything. My earrings have been ripped out.
I do go a bit mental, but it's
just didn't sit next to Kyle.
I'm very justified in going mental because Newcastle going 1-0 up at Anfield is it's a bit like winning the lottery. It never happens, so I feel justified in doing so. And what a great start from them! It was just the most least expected thing, and the most least expected person as well. Jetro Willems, a new left back who obviously had that mistake at Arsenal, and people have judged him on that and a couple other things. But that finish, that's something that'll live long in the memory for me, especially taking the lead at Anfield after 9 minutes. That's for sure.
Yeah, I've still got the scars from Leicester. Obviously Jose Perez, now a Leicester man, unfortunately, when he scored last season. But Lee, Newcastle, I thought, were in control in terms of every time Liverpool were attacking and going forward. Defensively, I thought we were pretty comfortable. However, it did take a mistake from Emil Krafth, and we're going to touch in more depth about the right-back situation in part 2, but you can't give Liverpool half an inch, because you saw what Mane did, especially for the first goal. He literally passed it into the top corner, didn't he?
I don't know about had control of the game.
I mean, control, like defensively.
Yeah, we were defensively sound until Mane scored that great goal. I know Krafth was a fault for it. We'll talk about him later, but I thought we're resolute. Look, we've got it. Well, it's Newcastle's strongest point, our defence. So Steve Bruce is channeling what Rafa Benitez was using, and that wing-back system works so well. Obviously, we're playing a team not just on one level above, but God, you're talking planets. Never mind world-class players. I mean, Liverpool's first 22 would start for Newcastle, bar exception maybe of Fabian Schär, of course. You know, the one guy that I do love. But overall, going back to your question, yeah, we were solid. And I said to Kyle, even after Atsu's mistake, I was saying to him, guys, look, we're still in the game at half time at Anfield. We're still in it. Obviously, it didn't come to it, but if you offered it a 2-1, getting beat 2-1, going at half time, I think 75% of Newcastle fans probably would have took that.
Definitely. I'm just going to interrupt before we're going any further on Liverpool versus Newcastle. There has been a fourth goal at Vicarage Road, and Watford have made it 2-2 against Arsenal from the penalty spot. It's Pereira who has got the goal for Watford. Arsenal were 2-0 from 2 goals from Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Cleverly got one back after Arsenal decided to pass it around in their own box from a goal kick and cleverly intercepted to make it 2-1. But Pereira in the last 10 minutes has just made it 2-2 from the penalty spot. So all to play for in the last 10 minutes. Rob, Newcastle won, Liverpool won at that time, what we're talking about, but Christian Atsu gives the ball away, and Dubravka could do a little bit better, it has to be said.
The second goal
for Liverpool. Is it just unlucky in terms of Dubravka, or should Atsu clear the ball or pass the ball or do something earlier on?
Well, when you work your way backwards in terms of where did the disaster start? Where was the real cause of that goal? And of course, you have to fault Dubravka as hard as it is, because he is a fantastic goalkeeper, absolutely one of our best goalkeepers, I think, since Shay Given. I think Dubravka is probably our best goalkeeper. but then it's one of those basic things. He's probably just been pressurised, and it's one of those sort of FIFA moments where if that happens, that controller is going out of the window for any of those who get so-called FIFA rage.
Other better video games are available.
But yeah, Christian Atsu, yeah, you have to think he should do better there, but at the same time, I think a good proportion of the blame has to go to Dubravka on that one. But as we've seen, it's not the first time that he's made an error, but it's not the first time that he would come back stronger as a result of those such errors.
But Rob would kind of be doing those kind of mistakes. You can against the likes of Brighton, who we're playing next week, because no disrespect, Brighton are not going to punish us like Sadio Mane did, and that's a double mistake. And the one time we were perfect against Spurs, they didn't concede, and you've got to then. I know it's a big ask, it's a mental thing as well as a physical thing to go through 90 minutes without making any mistakes. But if you make that one mistake, well, it's the double one there, they'll punish you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Leo, let you continue. I want to ask you, how much did Firmino coming on for Origi really change the impact of the game? Because when we saw Origi starting, yes, he's still a threat, but he's no Roberto Firmino. But he seemed to really take the bull by the horns. He made the defenders come out, so there was space in behind for the likes of Salah. But I just felt like the game just changed straight away as soon as Firmino came on.
Yeah, you're right. We had an inkling, didn't we? Because obviously we've spoken to a couple of Scousers in the build-up of the game on our YouTube channel, and they were saying that they're unlikely to see Fabinho start and also Firmino, but obviously Firmino was benched, and I'm not going to lie, I was delighted to see that. Origi's a decent player, but he was going out wide a lot, and actually just before he went down injured, I was looking at a couple of analysts over last night, is that Origi started playing a lot more central just before he got injured, so it's one of them that we'll never know. However, Firmino's a world-class player because what he does, he drops into it's like a false 10, but that allows Salah and Mane to come play as almost strikers because you've then got your full-backs playing as wingers, and that's extremely difficult to play against. And yeah, was he the difference? Liverpool fans are saying yes. Was he the difference overall? Possibly, but I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah. Kyle, second half comes on obviously with 2-1 down after that error from Atsu, which Lee's touched upon. But that 2-1 is a big opportunity for Emil Krafth, and again I'm going to mention that we are going to talk about the fact that the right back situation, but just talking about that chance at 2-1 where Christian Atsu does very well down the left hand side to get a cross in. Krafth's all by himself, he's got the whole of Liverpool to have the time to think about how he's going to celebrate in front of the Kop almost, but he blazes it over the crossbar. Massive opportunity missed.
It is, especially at 2-1. The ball goes in, he's got a lot of time to compose himself. I mean, Lee touched upon in the videos yesterday, it was a very similar opportunity in Norwich. It was in the sense, but he had a lot more time with this one. There was a player running at him and he had a tighter angle against Norwich. This one, he had the whole goal. And honestly, I say this to Lee yesterday, you could have put a net behind the Kop end and he would still put it over. It was that bad of a miss, and it just summed up his day yesterday, mate. It was just...
We're criticising for not going forward, but the two times that he has gone forward into the box, he's ballooned them over the bar.
Yeah. I mean, I hope he can... I mean, he's shooting, he's a right back, you know, I'm not expecting 20 goals a season off of him or anything like that, but it's just one of them misses that will... If you score that and make it 2-2, do Newcastle possibly get a result?
Who knows? I'm just going to have a look at some of the comments that are on our YouTube chat. Mr. A says, as soon as Origi went off, I was like, oh no, Firmino. We're going to touch about Firmino because we've mentioned in the third goal and very, very shortly. It was a Firmino masterclass. Lee likes to speak to Scousers. We'll leave that for another radio show.
Thanks, Paul.
Drop Krafth from Ankyo. That's from Liam and USA. That's all going to be about part 2 about our right back situation. So the third goal, Rob, Mo Salah, but we've got to talk about Roberto Firmino's little flick to let Salah just go and run at our defence, go into the box and place it in the bottom corner.
Well,
from a Newcastle fan, it was horrible to see, but you have to take your hat off. Literally take your hat off.
No,
it was such a good goal.
Well, the individual performances yesterday, Salah, Mane, and Firmino, just goes to show how much that they have made Liverpool one of the world beaters in world football now. Salah is just absolutely magical, and yesterday was absolutely no exception with his goal. Just beautiful, and of course that set up by Firmino. it's one of those things you just have to hold your hands up and say, oh, well played.
Yeah, well played, definitely. I've just got Bar Barbarians podcast on the chat as well, so I think Newcastle scoring first actually woke up the giant that is Liverpool Football Club. Do you agree, Kyle?
To be fair, I don't, because Liverpool were always going to be a threat. They were always going to score. I say that in my drive down preview that to stop Liverpool from scoring, we're going to have to play almost 100% perfect performance. But Liverpool are always a threat, whether you're 1-0 up, 2-0 up, 3-0 up, or even getting beat. It's Liverpool are always a threat, and with them front three, they're capable. Look what they did. For example, look what they did to Barcelona. They were 4-0 down or something in the Champions League, and they come back. It's just madness. That front three can do things to defences that most teams in the world just can't. They've got that extra bit of quality.
I'm going to get a clip on with the Redmen TV very, very shortly. I've got Chris Pajak, who will be discussing what he thought of the game, but I'm just going to quickly put on a question from Richard Boyd, who says that we are weaker when John Joe plays, John Joe Shelvey, of course. He was at fault for the first goal. I don't entirely agree with that, but Lee, he prefers Longstaff, he's more solid. Do you agree with that?
I don't believe that John Joe Shelvey made were weaker in that performance. Look, I know we've picked on Emil Krafth, and we'll touch on him later, but look, you play in Liverpool, these are world-class players, and their third goal was beautiful. I'd be buzzing if we scored that third goal. That flick and finish was absolutely sublime, but I can get the sense where John Joe, because the play predominantly goes through him, if he's in that starting lineup, against Liverpool, he's not going to get on the ball much. Brighton, if he does start, the play will probably go through him because there's Sean Longstaff going to be back next week, probably unlikely. That's why I've probably seen maybe Key. I was surprised to set you, didn't I, Kyle? Because I thought Bruce will go with Key because he wants that extra workhorse, but he went with Shelvey, didn't he?
He did, and I think it's a really good question. I think it's something that you could probably bring up as a debate for a part of the show one week. Is John Joe Shelvey able to make the midfield, and how will we go without him? In terms of yesterday, it doesn't really matter who we're through midfield. It was going to be an uphill task, and it wasn't going to be really an offensive play kind of performance from Newcastle. But I think in the long term, I agree with what Lee says. When Shelvey plays, he's got have a lot of the ball to him, and you've got to play through him a lot. Whereas I think with Longstaff, he's more. He can do more.
It's
things.
a bit. Do you remember what you mentioned? Chris was coming on in a second. He was saying when they had Coutinho, Liverpool's play was all through him, and then moved him away, and then obviously they go out wide now with the wing backs, and the Salah and Mane come in. They play a different style, and it suits them. And I think with playing with Shelvey, the player, he picks the ball off the defenders, and I hate that, especially when you got Lejeune back. When he does come back, and Fabian Schär, you don't need that player there.
No, not anymore.
Just let the full backs bomb on.
When he first came in our first season in the Championship in particular, because we're back four was Clark and Lascelles and obviously Dummett and Yedlin in the Championship. We needed John Joe Shelvey, and the amount of times in the Championship we spoke about, if we had John Joe Shelvey, would we have won, especially when he was injured in the December time that season. Like, he was one main man back then with the playmaker, but since we've got Longstaff, Shaw, Lejeune, all these players that can pick out a pass, and John Joe Shelvey is no longer the person that can pick that pass out.
I would like to see him play
just the only person
10-15 yards further forward.
Don't get us wrong, John Joe Shelvey's more than capable of this. Yeah. He's got great skill, we all know this, but maybe, we've got more than that now. We can play a different style.
I think that's the beauty of Newcastle's midfield. We can play different people in different strengths, and obviously Longstaff and Shelvey are there both together. Especially against a team like a Brighton, maybe, it'd be fantastic to watch, but you can't really drop Isaac Hayden at the minute. Let's see what Chris Pajak had to say. Obviously he's part of the Redmen TV. He was a happy Liverpool fan as their side went 5 points clear at the top.
And then it looked like it for me that Liverpool and Newcastle started really well, but Liverpool looked like they'd come out of the international break and didn't really know what was happening. And Newcastle, they had that 5 at the back and they had the 4 in front and a really, really deep striker. And we just found it really hard to break it down. I was looking at it and I thought Liverpool were passing maybe a little bit slow. But to be honest, even if we'd have passed a little bit crisper, I don't think we'd have broken you down at times. It took us a little while to get into the game and really understand how you were defending and how we can maybe make the best of it. Because it seemed to me like that, Trent and Andy Robbo, they were getting space on the wings, but the balls were getting whipped into the middle, and it was like Salah or Mane and Lascelles and the other centre half were just eating that up every single time. And it wasn't until really Divock went a little bit central for 5 minutes, started putting his foot on the ball and then looking for a player running in, like a little 1-2 or something, we started to get a little bit of joy. Obviously we get a great goal from Sadio Mane. He passes the ball into the top bin, very great, another great finish actually, just like yours, to be fair. And then the injury for Origi, I think, really didn't help Hughes. I think obviously we were going to bring Bobby Firmino on in that position, but you got to look at it and think, well, I think we'd have struggled for a little while longer then. But you put Bobby in the middle, and then all of a sudden that little quick pass between Salah and Bobby, and then the 1-2, or Mane and Bobby and the 1-2, it just started to wear and tear on you guys. And through ball, keeper makes a bit of a mistake. Sadio Mane's there to knock it in. We didn't really look back after that. We just took our time on the ball. There was that one opportunity where your right back had one from about 7 yards. He should have scored. Well, Liverpool seems to be able to roll with the punches a little bit more, and we need to play long ball if we want to play long ball and stuff like that. I think we'd have just carried on getting better throughout the game, and the introduction of Bobby changed things. Mo Salah wanted a goal, gets one with good interplay from Bobby, and at 3-1 I wasn't worried then, to be honest with you. It was just more about seeing the game out. If you can defend that resolutely against other sides, then you're going to be able to get goals on the counter attack. You're going to be able to get points, be that a single point or a win. But it's difficult to judge a team based on a performance when they essentially just sat back for 80 minutes of the game. But you defended really well. It's can you take control of the game? And I don't know enough about you.
Can we take control of the game? Well, Rob, Almiron, Joe Linton, they tried to take control of the game. What do you make of their performances? In particular, Joe Linton, who's up against Virgil van Dijk, arguably, if not the best centre-half in the world at the minute.
I think he is the best centre-half in the world at the moment. I think that Joe Linton and Almiron, they're always going to be up against, yesterday, always going to be up against a world-class defence. Almiron up against Robertson especially. And I think you just can't really judge them on those performances because it would be worth judging them on teams that are on a par with us, like we've got Brighton next weekend. Those are the real biggies that I would say. It's almost as if yesterday's trip to Liverpool was almost like a warm-up for Brighton, for all of the whole team, rather than just singling out one or two.
Definitely. Remember, you can contact the show. It's nftvstudio@gmail.com. We get your emails in, we'll read them out while the show is on. We'll get your questions in about Newcastle United as well. And let's hear from Kyle. He was at the game, breaking people's arms and legs while Newcastle scored. But let's get his thoughts on this Liverpool game.
I think as soon as the third goal went in, a lot of the fans knew we had a bit of it was a deflated feel in the crowd because we knew 2 down we weren't going to come back, and it was just one of them days. Really one of them days. It was hard to take, but not many people are going to come here and play as well as we did today. Not many teams are going to come here, home of the European champions, and take the lead. Do you know what I mean? So there's plenty of positives to take. I thought we battled hard today. We played really well in parts. We defended really well. Jetro Williams, what a goal as well. But I think there's a few negatives. I think Emil Krafth needs dropped. He kept getting caught out of position. He kept getting caught by Andrew Robertson, and Andrew Robertson had his life. He had to go off after 55 minutes, and Atsu as well. Mistakes that you can't do with any team in the Premier League, let alone the European champions. So for me, there's a couple of negatives in Atsu and Emil Krafth, but other than that, very strong, rugged defensive display today. And I think against 90% of the teams in the Premier League, it would have been enough to pick up a point. But Liverpool's attack are just that damn good, and which couldn't nick anything today. So it's just one of them. We'll move on. Brighton's a huge game now.
It is a huge game now. I mean, so that's going to be part 3. But yes, Liverpool's attack will probably beat every single team, maybe Man City, Barcelona. Them teams can really give Liverpool a very, very difficult game. But Newcastle don't go there embarrassed. They just keep plodding on for the next game, which is Brighton next Saturday night. We're going to have a quick break. Part 2 is about the right-back situation for Newcastle United. Emil Krafth, DeAndre Yedlin and Javier Manquillo. Who is your pick for Newcastle's first choice right back, and just in the comments if you're watching or listening on YouTube or however you're watching the Black and White show or listening to the Black and White show at night, there's going to mention who's going to win the league, Liverpool and Manchester City. You've seen Liverpool play today. Manchester City got beat yesterday, which we're going to mention in part 5. Just type in Liverpool or City and we'll see how many people say how many each, rather. Let's go and have a break.
You're the night sky trying to make me see your stars, but the dark gets lonely. Now I see violet, I can feel silence, and the dark's all that I see. When your stars have burnt out and your heart makes no sound, I'll find violet in your eyes. You'll always be my night sky. You'll always be my night sky. Be my night sky. You'll always be my night sky. You're the night sky hiding behind dark gray clouds. I can't figure you out now. I see your blue. There is so much cold in you, and the silence is so loud when you go. I just stay dancing with my shadow all day. Watch the tide. I can't find the point where our two paths align. But you're the night sky, I'm trying to see your stars, but I've always feared the dark. Now I see violet, I can feel your silence. You always feel so far when your stars have burnt out and your heart makes no sound. I'll find violet in your eyes. You'll always be my night sky. You'll always be my night sky. Be my night sky. You'll always be my night sky. Be my night sky. You'll always be my night sky.
That was Beautiful Day by U2. Big shout out to Paul, that one, who wanted that on for the part 1 ad. Asked the question, do you want a Liverpool or Manchester City who's going to win the league? Jane Atlanta LFC, so obviously Liverpool Football Club. NUFC updates City. Bareback Barbarian, City are done. How can you lose to Norwich? I don't know how you can lose to Norwich, you know. Not like we've done that already.
No, never. Conceded the same amount of goals, to be fair.
We did, didn't we? Just a couple of quick results in the Premier League today. It's finished at Vicarage Road. Watford 2, Arsenal 2. Arsenal have thrown away 2 points at least today, maybe even 3 points considering the fact that they were 2-0 up through Aubameyang. And
Aubameyang did nothing wrong.
he did nothing wrong.
The defence did. Typical Arsenal defending, mate.
Definitely, especially for the first goal from Tom Cleverley, who got
All
it.
people as well. God.
Yeah.
Wait until you see the goal, Carl. I showed it. Johnny was showing
No.
before.
Johnny showed us before it came on in there. It's typical Arsenal defending, like it is shambolic.
It is very shambolic with Tom Cleverley and then Pereira getting at the penalty, scoring the penalty rather for Watford to make it 2-2. And earlier on in the day, Bournemouth beat Everton by 3-1. 2 goals from Callum Wilson, and Ryan Fraser got on the end, scored a free kick which got a deflection from Fabian Delph, but Dominic Calvert-Lewin did get one back for Everton. When equalised for Everton, rather, not got one back. He equalised for Everton just before half time, but it was Bournemouth that took all 3 points at the Vitality earlier on this afternoon. And let's talk about part 2. We'll talk about right backs. Newcastle have got 3. But have we got 3 good right backs? That's the question. We've got DeAndre Yedlin, Javier Manquillo, and most recently Emil Krafth, who has been put under a lot of criticism since joining the club. I thought he had a good game against Tottenham, even though he probably didn't start great. But he has struggled against the likes of Norwich, against the likes of Watford, and against Liverpool. I know Liverpool are very, very difficult at the best of times. But Kyle, you were very, very harsh, in my personal opinion, about Emil Krafth's performance. Yes, he didn't have the best.
You'll soon hear him.
But without giving too much away on your clip, what did you think of Emil Krafth's performance yesterday?
It's been building up, Johnny. I'm not a one to usually attack players after one given performance. It's been building up since his first performance. I just don't think he's been that good. And obviously you can find your feet and everything like that. And don't get us wrong, every time he crosses the white line and has a black and white shirt on, I'm going to support him and cheer him on and everything like that. But on the given of the first couple of games of the season that he's played, I just think he's been extremely poor, mate. And yesterday was a build up of that where it's continuation of poor performance after poor performance in a defence which I'll go out on a limb and say it's probably the best defence we've had in Premier League history. Our best defence Newcastle have had in Premier League history. And I just think Emil Krafth is like a touch back to the past, like a Stephen Carr type or something like that. Do you know what I mean? So I really hope Krafth can kick on and get some confidence going and become the right back that we're saying. Because going into the summer, we talked about on this show even, what do we need? We need a right back to slot in because Yedlin and Manquillo have the same quality, and Emil Krafth was the man that we looked to be like, right, you're the one that's going to come in and be that first team right back for the season. Hopefully we don't have any more woes in that position, but since he's started, it's just been poor performance after poor performance, and it's making us think, do we need to look for a right back again? We've got 3 right backs, and I touched on it the other week. I think our best right back plays for the women's team, and it's Brooke Cochran. She's our best right back in Newcastle United at the minute, I'm afraid.
Lee, to defend Emil Krafth, he does get in some decent places on the pitch in terms of when we're attacking. You look at the chance against Norwich, you look at the chance against Liverpool, he is there. And did we get that from Manquillo? Did we get that from Yedlin? We didn't get that from Yedlin a lot. We definitely didn't get that from Javier Manquillo. Is it just defensively he is struggling the fact at a right wing back position?
12 months ago, I would have said Yedlin's the out and out best right back, but he had an awful season last campaign. And Manquillo coming in was solid. I think I would agree with Kyle. Manquillo and Yedlin on a similar level have different attributes, don't get me wrong. But I think those two are a slight notch ahead of Krafth. And yes, I know it's early doors, but he's got to start getting the hang of things pretty quickly because, yeah, you get your Brighton game out of the way, you won't be as tested as much, but then you look at the fixtures coming up, we've got 2 big teams and he could be ripped apart again. For me, I said a couple of weeks ago, you've got to get Manquillo in and play Krafth, introduce him slowly. As soon as he was signed, he was straight in, which that shocked me for the Norwich game. And he looks so out of place, people are skinning him position. He's a bit worried when we have the ball, do I get forward or do I not? Yedlin's got no qualms, Yedlin just gets forward and says, I'm off. Manquillo's a little bit reserved, he'll go forward, but Manquillo waits for the touchline to tell him to go forward. But Krafth, there's a couple of things that were picked up on defensively and going forward. Yes, I get your point. He's got in the box and blazed them over the bar. It's a tough one. I would say give him time, yeah, but take him out the firing line, especially for the big games, just to see how Manquillo. Remember, Yedlin will be back next week because Yedlin was only just missed out the matchday squad. It gives Bruce several options, and then it also gives, with Matt Ritchie being out, you can play Manquillo over the other side if needs be. Although Jetta Williams has done all right since coming in, but it gives Bruce more options, and more options means more tactics, more formations, different style. Same as the injured players being out in a minute.
Definitely. And Rob, I'm just going to ask you about Javier Manquillo. Is he at the minute the most consistent right wing back that we've got at the minute?
Is he consistent? No. Is
Maybe
he the most
last season? That's what I'm kind of.
Is he the most consistent right back that we have? Yes. He must be thinking right now, what can I do to get back into this team? Because I think Krafth, he's been shocking. Krafth has been disastrous in his performances. He's been more harm than good. And if you think about Brighton and Leicester, our upcoming opponents, they're going to be looking at us and thinking, "Oh, I really hope Krafth plays." Exploit him.
Jamie Vardy will have a field day against him.
Yeah. So Harvey Barnes.
Yeah. Whereas Manquillo, and of course it's good news that Yedlin is on his way back. Yeah, we need change there at big time, and so I think Manquillo, considering he didn't play that badly on the opening day against Arsenal, and then he got dropped. Considering he didn't play that badly on the opening day, I think he deserves a return to the starting 11.
Definitely. Kyle, would you say that if we take Krafth out the side, essentially just for the time being, that Manquillo is better defensively, but doesn't offer a lot going forward, but Yedlin offers more going forward, but isn't great defensively? Is that a fair point?
Well, as Lee touched on before, they've both got different attributes, but they're very similar in terms of quality. It depends which ways Steve Bruce wants to set up against Brighton, because if Yedlin's fully fit and he wants the width to be more attacking, because Jetta Williams is more of an attacking fullback and can get forward and is comfortable on the ball. He showed that yesterday. On the right hand side, however, if he wants another attacking fullback, Yedlin's the one to get forward. I mean, his end product can be shoddy at times, but he can get forward. He's very quick. Or, on the other hand, you could go with Manquillo, who's a lot more balanced. I think he can get forward, he can get back. He's a lot better defensively, I feel, than Yedlin is. And probably next week I'll probably go for Manquillo getting his place back, because, as Rob said, I don't think he deserved to be dropped. I think he should have been in at Norwich, and I think he would have handled the situation the last 3 weeks a lot better than Krafth, in my opinion. But I will touch on what Lee says before. Krafth does deserve time, and he will, and every chance that he gets, I'll support him. But on the basis of the first couple of games at Newcastle United, he hasn't been good enough.
Yeah, I'm just looking at some of the comments. John B, I would give Krafth away. He is that bad. For me, Yedlin has to start, because only if he can show what he was out like before. Can't keep the spot with the play of last year. Similar to what Lee said, he wasn't very good last season. And you've got to be able to cross in the Premier League if you want to be a good fullback. Yeah, I can agree with that to an extent. But Lee, if Javier Manquillo does become the first choice right wing back, he's only got a year left on the contract. Do you have to offer him a new one?
I think you'll only get a 1 or 2 if he was to get that contract extension. Remember, Yedlin's contract's running down as well. He's been 3 years now. He'll only have 2 years left. So, and Jamie Sterry, he's gone, and he, bless him. So he's the 4th choice. And I mean, obviously he's a local lad as well, and he's playing with kids who are a lot younger. Well, I say a lot younger, 2 or 3 years younger than him, and he can't even get a look in. But going back to your question, yeah, I think if Manquillo walked away as a free agent, I don't think anyone in this table, in this room, is going to be disheartened by that, are we? Not
really. Are you sure, Lee?
No, not really.
Biggest fan for pre-season.
Not well, come on, yours was Jack Colback. So we wouldn't really be upset about it, not massive, because you know that you've got cover. It's not great cover. Personally, if I was going for Brighton, I would go for DeAndre Yedlin, what Kyle's just said, because we do lack a bit of width on that right side, and I think it'll help Almiron come a little bit inbound, because against, yes, I know he's doing a lot of headless chicken running, if you want to call it that, against Liverpool, but if you have someone Yedlin, because he showed it against Man City away, you can get in that box and finish last season. So I would personally definitely go for Yedlin on that right wing, assuming he's fully fit, assuming his game time is match fit. But the only way you're going to get match fit is playing games. So does Bruce put him on the bench as you start? But for me personally, I would go Yedlin at home. I wouldn't away. I feel more safe with Manquillo, and I can't believe I'm saying that. I feel more safe with Manquillo against a Man United or Leicester coming up.
Yeah, Rob, just before we get Fordy's thoughts with Kyle about the right-back situation, is Emil Krafth playing out of position slightly? Because it seems to me that he's been very comfortable in just a right-back and not a wing-back.
Yeah, I think this whole right wing back, the use of the wing back system, it is very unknown territory for him, and so the full back, it's not the best for him. But I would use that and say that's all the more reason to bring back Manquillo into the team, because Manquillo has experience in playing in such system.
Yeah, definitely. Let's get Kyle and Fordy's thoughts on Emil Krafth and the situation that Newcastle find themselves in at right back.
I think Krafth was brought in for us to appreciate Yedlin and Manquillo even more.
Do you think he's getting a little bit too much stick at its early doors?
No. Listen, teams are coming to us and targeting him for a reason. If you watch the match highlights back, if you watch the whole game back, you can see Robertson literally dancing around him. Him, Salah, Mane, all dancing around him. Down the other side, it was pretty solid. But down that side is a problem.
And there's no change that he was hauled off.
Oh, there's
no surprise, sorry.
No, of course not. I mean, I think that's probably the one change I can agree with Bruce, that he had to come off. And Manquillo, obviously he's not the greatest going forward, but he brought a bit of solidarity to that position, to that area, and he didn't have the same joy down that area, so has to be, for me, no-brainer. Well, when he had the opportunity to score.
Very similar to Norwich, wasn't it, when the cross came in?
Yeah, I mean, of all the players that you wanted to drop to, probably don't want it to drop to him, and his confidence is probably shot to pieces anyway. He's just got to go, or he's just got to come in.
Get over it.
Well,
he's got to get over it, hasn't he?
Well, get over the fact that he's playing badly, or get over the fact of what are we getting over here? No, come on, we got to call people out now, because we can't have the opportunity to kind of be babysitting players in the team, and especially in areas like that, because we're going to get punished. I know Champions of Europe, yeah, but again, they're just targeting.
Got to put it away.
Yeah, easily.
Right. I'm not picking at the lad. I know he's a new player and that, but it's time and time again he's getting targeted now, and I've seen in the rating the players that Manquillo when he first signed was better than that Emil Krafth, and Manquillo got loads of stick because he used to play for Sunderland and things like that. Whereas Manquillo is now starting to become...
He's more solid, isn't he?
People are starting to prefer Manquillo, and you know it's bad when people are starting to prefer Manquillo to someone. Do you know what I mean? Like, Emil Krafth was supposed to be the revelation, the new right back that was going to come in, slot into that back five and make it solid, but he's just the complete opposite, mate. I hope he turns it round, and I hope he proves us wrong, but on the basis of today, Tottenham and Norwich, where he was a bit he's shaky in all three of them. He needs to prove he's fighting an uphill battle, mate, because if I was Steve Bruce now, he wouldn't be playing for the next couple of weeks.
It seems a bit lopsided though, like in terms of both sides. Like the left side, I think we've got sorted now. We've got Willems and...
it's a good replacement for Richie, isn't he?
Yeah, we've got Willems and then we've got Atsu on that side, and they work well together as a combo. And then you've got on the other side, Almiron does not track back. In fact, after the time where I'm looking for him to overlap, he's on the other side of the pitch. And then obviously Krafth, as we said before, like he doesn't look like he knows what he's doing. He's got all the gear but no idea. So again, it just looks so lopsided. We need to sort out the right side. So again, we look solid from both sides, because otherwise it's just going to be the same thing that we're going to be repeating every single week when we do this.
No idea. That's what Fordy says about Emil Krafth. Lee, do you think that's too much criticism for Emil Krafth so far? He's only played 3 games for Newcastle.
Fordy's got no idea. Yeah, big shout out Fordy. It's a tough one, isn't it? Because I can get his point being strong. We are strong, and obviously, I was saying to you with Matt Ritchie against us, I don't think we've missed Ritchie too much. Williams has obviously gone and proved me right. Just saying. But of course, we do miss Matt Ritchie in general terms. We do, but I think the left side we've got a bit of, and he's an experience. He's an international, can go for Jetta Williams. I think that side's fine. Again, coming to the other side, we are a little bit. Who do you play? But again, I'll just come with Yedlin. Yeah, I think it's a bit harsh writing him off just yet for Emil Krafth, but Yedlin for me for the next home game.
So Yedlin for you for the next home game.
Yeah. Next home game, but I wouldn't for Man U.
Kyle, who goes in at right back for you?
I've seen Manquillo before, and I think he's a lot more balanced. I could see Brighton looking to target Yedlin from just coming back from injury and things like that, and having severe amount of lack of match fitness, so they could target Yedlin. So I think the safe option probably Manquillo for next week.
Rob?
What Kyle said.
You're going for Manquillo?
Yeah.
I agree, actually. I agree. I think Manquillo should start next week
I can't believe that Mankio gets 75% of the vote.
Yeah, the reason for me is that if Yedlin hasn't played a game, this is arguably...
If he's match fit, though.
If he's... that's what I was about to go. In the longer term,
yeah,
I would go with Yedlin. But in the immediate short term, and the fact that Brighton at home is such a big game, and we're going to touch about that in part 3, is the Brighton game. Mankio has to start for me. I know Emil Krafth's been getting some criticism. I think it will do him good just to be out of the limelight for the game next week, and then we'll see how Mankio does. And obviously we've got 2 difficult games straight after that. I just don't want to see Krafth's confidence just gone if he has a bad game against Brighton and Newcastle don't get the result that they're hoping for. So yeah, 3 of us have gone for Mankio, 1 of us has gone for Yedlin. Get your comments in, and also you can email us, remember, which Jack Chater has done. And Jack Chater has said to us, gents, should we try Almiron in a different role to try and get the best out of him, such as playing him as a number 10? Now, I thought Rafa tried to play him more on the wing, and I think Steve Bruce has kind of gone with the same idea. He hasn't really been tried or tested in a number 10 role, Kyle. Do you think that Jack has a point?
Well, first and foremost, Jack, thank you for sending your question in to the show. But it's a difficult one, because to put Almiron in a number 10, you'd have to change the entire system to do so. At the moment, Newcastle play 3 up top with 2 wingers, and would have to change that severely for him to play there. And for me, I mean, I do rate Almiron very highly. I think he's very skillful. Just I don't think we've seen the very good end product as of yet. And to change a system for a lad that has 0 assists and 0 goals is a very, very big risk.
Rafa tried it though with 5-2-3, didn't he? You got the 5, then the 2 sitting.
The thing with Rafa is the wingers played a bit more narrow, and that was the closest that we've seen as Almiron as a number 10. He was very effective, but is it worth the risk putting Almiron in number 10, because you might have to go 4 at the back or play 2 drop 1 in midfield to put him there, so you have to accommodate a lot for the lad.
The one thing I wouldn't want though is Almiron as a striker.
No, but could you, just to go on your point about 4 at the back, could you not do that against Brighton? Not against Liverpool or anything, but could you not just do that against Brighton at home?
To be honest, mate, with the way Newcastle have set up in the past year or so with this wing-back system, for me it's Newcastle's perfect formation. I think it suits us better than any other. When Rafa fell on this formation at the start of last year, I think we were on the back of a 7-loss streak, and we came in with this formation and it changed the whole season for us, and it kept winning the league. So I think the wing-back system suits with defence. I think it suits the likes of Hayden. I think it suits Longstaff Doty as well, and it gives Maximin, when he comes in, a lot of freedom to run forward. It gives Almiron a lot of freedom actually as well to run forward, run back. Gives our striker Joelinton a bit of freedom as well to get forward, put yourself about. So to answer Jack's question, I don't think it'd be right to put him in the number 10. I'd keep him out wide, because I think if we're going to get anything out of him, it would be there.
We've got another email from Bareback Barbarian, so we'll do this email before we go into the next ad break. Can you see Ashley giving Bruce any money in January?
Well, Bruce is already...
Can I rephrase that question? And I'm not here to just pick out that question, Bareback Barbarian's podcast. But can you see Ashley giving money to our chief scouts? If Bruce is involved.
Bruce has already admitted that there's a little bit of money there. How much is a little bit? 5 million? No. You're probably talking 10 to 15, wouldn't you?
For a winger? Or do you have to
that's that. More? Bruce has already hinted in the press conference that there's a little bit of money there. He said that on Friday's press conference. So he said that there won't be massive amounts, 5 or 6 coming in. There'll just be 1 or 2. That'll be it. That's all they're targeting, and that's probably just to get the. Well, maybe wait. Again, where do you depending who leaves as well, doesn't it?
Oh, massively.
So
Richie is injured as well. So I know he's not an out winger, but.
Where do you strengthen though?
Right wing back and a winger.
I think centre midfield has needed me personally if we're going to play 3 there.
Although it depends if one's out the door. It depends if
it might hinder
Matty's
progress.
See, I'd look to bring Matty in.
But if you said to me right now, where do you strengthen? I'll go centre mid. And obviously the right wing back, but because we've signed Emil Krafth, I don't think we will.
It'd be interesting to see what happens, especially for this game, the game on the weekend against Brighton, which is what we're going to be talking about in part 3. Newcastle versus Brighton. I'm putting up there. It's Steve Bruce's biggest game so far as Newcastle United's head coach. Get your comments in and also email the show on contactnftvstudio@gmail.com. get your comments in for Newcastle versus Brighton. That's what we're going to be talking about in part 3. We're going to have a quick break, and it's Under Pressure by Queen.
Yes, especially with Manchester coming back again.
You're the night sky trying to make me see your stars, but the dark gets so lonely. Now I see violet, I can feel silence, and the dark's all that I see when you.
Pressure by the late David Bowie and, of course, Freddie Mercury and Queen. Of course, obviously, Freddie Mercury was the main man, but him and David Bowie were exceptional in that song. Talk about people that are under pressure. Kyle and Leah swap seats because Kyle's now under pressure for making sure.
But apparently
the
so.
right.
But everyone's got to be multi-skilled on this show. So I'm trying out the stream. So if it does mess up, I do apologise. But it is me.
Remember, you can email the show at contact@nftvstudio@gmail.com if you've got any questions that you want to ask the guy, especially in particular part 3, 4, and 5. Don't hesitate because we will get the questions and Liam Kelmsley has a question for us in terms of Brighton. We'll get your question out of the way now, Liam. Would you start Saint-Maximin against Brighton? I would start him on the bench because I think it's too early for him to start because he's just coming back from injury. Do you agree, Rob?
Yeah, I think it's a must even for any player, any injury. It doesn't matter whether you're a crucial part of the team. It doesn't matter whether you're a sporadic part of the team. Yeah, when you're coming back from injury, especially considering it's been 4 weeks since the Tottenham game, and so yeah. It's all about easing him back in. If you start a player straight away, and this goes for any player, not just Saint-Maximin, you start a player straight away after coming back from injury, that, of course, risks rushing them back and then getting injured again, which, of course, isn't ideal.
Definitely, and that I would agree with Liam. I would personally start Saint-Maximin on the bench as well. We don't want a repeat of what happened at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It was a lovely summer's day, wasn't it, Lee? It was brilliant.
It was fantastic.
Yes, there was a nice sunny day. Kyle was over complaining in the car. It was only 18 degrees. He goes, it's too hot, this.
It was hot. Johnny, your mate, was complaining about it as well.
It's only 18 degrees, how
shout out to Jackson, it was too hot yesterday, I have to agree. Let's talk about Brighton. Let's talk about Brighton in particular before we talk about how Newcastle can expose Brighton's weaknesses. Brighton got a new manager replacing the former Newcastle manager Chris Hughton. They brought in Graham Potter, who did a half decent job at Swansea. There's always a particular type of football that Graham Potter's associated with, and it seemed like him and Swansea were the perfect partnership. But he's decided to go to Brighton in the Premier League. Can you blame him? Blame him rather? I don't think you can, to be brutally honest. Especially after the first game, Kyle, Watford 0, Brighton 3. Neil Maupay, new signing, getting on the score sheet as well. It was the perfect start for Graham Potter on this side.
Yeah, it was. It was a very surprising one because when we looked at towards the start of the season, the way Brighton particularly finished the Premier League season last, I expected them to get a good hammering off Watford, but they didn't. They went there, and the new signing, Neil Maupay, it's someone I've rated actually in his time at Brentford, and I didn't think he'd start as well as he has, but he's been very good, and I think Brighton are quite lucky to have him.
Yeah, I personally would have gone. I would have tried Newcastle to get Neil Maupay, especially if Dwight Gale's not playing, because he's decided that he wants a complete rest at the minute, which is nice for some. But Lee,
yeah,
he seems to be the key man. How much has the likes of Jamal Lascelles and Paul Dummett, obviously we're not too sure about Fabian Shaw with his injury, obviously against Liverpool, if he's going to be involved, but they've got to keep an eye on them, haven't they?
What, Fabian Shaw?
No, Neil Maupay.
I was going to say. I know he's like an unknown. I know he's got a lot of goals for Brentford in the Championship, hasn't he? But it's making that step up. You do see this quite a lot where there's a lot of Championship strikers have a bit of a burst in the Premier League.
Chris Wood.
Yeah, and then they fade off. So, is he just the one? For me, Brighton, when I think of Brighton, I think workman-like. There's no individual stars. Anthony Knockout thought he was this big star. Now he's playing Championship football, isn't he? But when I think of them, I think of workman. I think Graham Potter's trying to get rid of that and trying to bring in a bit more expansive football, a bit more sexy football, if you want to call it that. What Ruud Gullit once said. I think he's trying to bring it in, and Potter's obviously got some methods background when he was in Sweden or Norway, one of those two Scandinavian countries.
Sweden, yeah, also
yeah.
Suns.
And he had some mad ideas, and the players went along with it. But what it done, it was the morale in the squad. He was like your best. It was like your uncle, like your dad kind of figure,
right?
Where he would have a bit of a joke on with a pint with you, and it's all about morale for him. So if the players are on board with him, they'll graft their socks off for him.
Yeah, definitely. And Rob, is this a must-not-lose game, or is it a must-win game for Newcastle? Because you look at the games that we've got after Brighton, it's Leicester away, Manchester United at home, Chelsea away, Wolves at home. It doesn't get much easier after Brighton, does it?
Well, of course, but similar to last season's opening run of fixtures, it was a difficult start and things eased off in the autumn up until around Christmas time. Of course, we haven't got the best of runs right now that's yet to come. And I cast my mind back to when we played Brighton at home last season, when that was dubbed as a must-win. It was like a cup final. It was about the 10th game, and we lost 1-0. And everyone was saying, "Oh, we're going down." But as we know, it turned out all right in the end. So I think it's way too early for calling this a must-win, to be honest. Of course, it would be brilliant if we win. It would be really nice, and I would expect nothing less. But at the same time, if we lose, yes, I will be gutted. But that
I would say a famous Rob rant.
It doesn't mean that the relegation race is or the fight for survival is over.
Kyle, how much pressure is on Steve Bruce, especially if he doesn't get the right result on Saturday?
To be honest, Johnny, I think there is a lot, because I think if we do lose to Brighton next week, it's going to be a case of hounding him out the door. I think I've got to be honest. I think he's earned the chance to have a little bit of time. I think that game against Spurs, he's earned that right, and I think our performance against Liverpool yesterday warrants him that, because each way you look at it, even Rafa struggled at these grounds, and we have as well, but we've managed to pick up 3 points at one of them, something we didn't really do under Benitez. So I think Bruce has earned a bit of time, but I think I touched on this in the Liverpool way in the article that I did for them last week. Newcastle fans will be content with wins, but they'll never be truly happy until Ashley's gone. And I think I'll echo that again, because there's always going to be discontent under this regime now, because it's a fatigue of 12 years now, and Bruce needs to just keep winning to keep the fans content. And I think if there's any sign of discontent, he's going to feel it, because it's not going to be just from a small minority or anything like that, a couple of people shouting on YouTube or anything. It'll be a majority, and they'll be on his back from the get-go. So I think just to ease the tension on him a little bit, ease the pressure, I think he needs to beat Brighton.
Definitely. And Lee, Brighton have played a 3-4-3 formation. Obviously, Lewis Dunk and Shane Duffy forged a good partnership, and now Adam Webster, who they bought from Bristol City for £20 million, has made it as a 3-man centre defensive team, really, and they've tried to get more attacking players like Solly March and Neil Morpay, also they brought in big money for, and Glenn Murray's always scores goals. He always gets a good amount of goals for Brighton. He has been a great servant for them. It's a different formation. It's more possession-based football, especially with the type of play that Graham Potter has tried to introduce at Brighton. Are they a better team than Newcastle? I know that sounds a stupid question because it's a very simple question, but do you think out for out, are Newcastle a stronger squad than Brighton?
Looking at Brighton's results, I think we've had the harder start than what they have. We've played 3 of the big 6 in the first 5 games already. I know they've got a hammering off Man City. I don't think Newcastle would go to Manchester City and get a battering 4-0, because I think you're all right, Brighton will try and
Don't
play.
speak too soon, mate.
No, I think what I'm trying to get at is Brighton will probably play a better footballing side, is probably the better phrase. I don't think they're a better football side than us, because I think we'll still finish possibly still ahead of them. I had Brighton down as a candidate to go down. I know they got a great win at Watford, the early doors, but now the results are starting to... they lost against Southampton, which is a relegation rival. Drew home against Burnley, what you might class as a relegation rival, but they brought in higher end, better known quality championship players. Can they make the step up? You mentioned Webster, you mentioned Morpay. Brighton haven't got the wage structure. The thing is with us, we can afford up to 70, 80 grand, where Brighton wouldn't pay a player that. They would rather spend 15, 20 million and pay him 20 grand a week, whereas we'll be the other way around. We'll pay less but give them more money. But I think it's a must-win for Steve Bruce. I think if we get beat, I think I'd echo Kyle's point. I think there will be a couple of daft idiots and will want Bruce out. I know it's early on the season. It's only it'll be the 6th game in, but getting beat against Brighton, knowing Man United and Leicester will coming through, and then you've got Chelsea as well. So I think that would worry most fans, getting beat off Brighton, knowing what's coming next, because you can't see a win coming. I know I've got a great record at Leicester. However,
Wonderful place.
It's a wonderful place, as you mentioned, but can that be 3 times in a year? That's a huge ask. I mean, I would give us a point at Leicester run. You know what I mean? I think if you would just notch up a little bit, and then if results don't start picking up, the beauty about Bruce is once these hard fixtures are out of the way, he's got a run of about 10 games where I think he's only playing one of the big boys in that 10. That's the time now where you'll get judged in those 10 games. And if you're offered 17th place at the start of the season, 5 games in, knowing you played 3 of the big 6, I would have took that. Because I was really worried about the start that Bruce would have. Yeah,
definitely. I think it's something you've got to just game it. I know this is the thing that always gets criticised, like the simple quote of just take it one game at a time. But I think with Newcastle, especially in the Steve Bruce, you have to look at it as one game at a time. Rob, yes, we've mentioned the relegation candidates, but their home form has been a struggle. Away from home, they have beaten Watford, similar to Newcastle, our home form, is the pressure from maybe the fans, the fact that we're expecting a win at home, especially Steve Bruce will be expecting to get his first home win against Brighton on Saturday evening. Can you see it happen?
Yeah, I can see it happening. I think certainly our eyes are lighting up at the prospect. I think that was very much the case when the fixtures came out. I know we've already played Watford as well earlier this season when we were expecting to win, but of course unable to. And so, yes, the Watford game we should have won, but at the same time they are a reputable Premier League side, whereas Brighton, you just think there's quite a lot of fragility about them. They're not, they're quite the real deal when it comes to footballing sides. So I'm pretty sure that, considering their bad away form ever since they got promoted with us, I know it's that they thrashed Watford 3-0 on the opening day, but take that aside, over the past few years their away form has been shocking.
They don't score many goals, do they, Rob?
No, they don't score. No, and I think our home form, especially under Bruce, is certainly one that we should be looking to improve. I know it wasn't the best last season. Bruce, I think, should be. It's the home form. It's where the fans are. It's where home is. So
definitely. Just last couple of points before we have a break. Almiron and Natsu for me, if they're both fit and available and start on Saturday, they've got to attack the empty space on the flanks, in my opinion. If Brighton do decide to go 3-4-3, because they're going to get a lot of space and they're obviously pacey and quick rather when they're down the flanks. Kyle, how much does Almiron need to get a good performance in against Brighton? If he can get a goal, hopefully that might start on a bit of a run.
To be fair, mate, he is playing well. He's doing the right things. He's getting in the right positions and everything like that. I mean, he was offside one too many times against Liverpool, as we touched on yesterday. But
he wasn't the only one.
Mutu came on and was born offside. But
the new movie coming out.
I think it's important he gets an assist or a goal because they're starting to creep in a couple of doubters about Almiron's ability to have an end product. So I'm hoping he can deliver and get the monkey off his back, because I think once he does get the monkey off his back, he will be a fantastic player for us, no doubt. I mean, look what he did to Andrew Robertson yesterday. Turned him and megged him, and he's the best left back in the league, and it takes talent to do that to someone.
And Lee, finally, will Andy Carroll get some involvement on Saturday? Because a lot of people are mentioning that Steve Bruce thinks he could be available next week in some capacity. Obviously, he would be on the bench. But do you think that's maybe a ploy by the club, maybe to say something about Andy Carroll next week, maybe to sell some more tickets? There's rumoured 8,000 to 10,000 tickets are still available for the game next Saturday, and the fact that it's on TV will make it harder to get people to buy tickets, I thought.
I think it's too soon for Bruce to go for Carroll. He's hinted on that. When was it? The end of the month? Start of. I said this to Kylan with the video with Fordies that it would be great to look at that bench and think, "Ooh, he's on the bench today." Oh, Andy Carroll or saint-maximin, just to when the game's going sour, it's 0-0. It'll lift the crowd first of all. As soon as Andy Carroll comes on for his debut, it'll lift the crowd, regardless of whatever game that'll happen. But my point being is that you've got these two players that you could bring on and may change a game, whether you go direct with Andy Carroll or if it's saint-maximin, because you know that he's going to get the feet off you. He braces it, he gets the crowd involved, he wants to fly around, he wants to do tricks, flicks. So I think for me, having someone off the bench would be great, but I think it might come a little bit too soon for Carroll. I know he's in full training. But it's quite similar to Yedlin. What I think would be good for both of them is playing an under-23 game. Just give them 45 minutes or something in the next, because I think the under-23s played Norwich coming up. Give them both 45 minutes, see if they can get through, fine. And then, if they get through that, it gives them a chance for the weekend game. But I think it's too soon, possibly for even both.
I was going to ask about predictions, but John B's put in a good question. Would you take a draw if it was after before the game?
No, I think Brighton's one of them games we're looking at, Johnny. If we're going to stay up, if we're going to push towards mid-table, we need to be looking to beat Brighton.
We have to win.
Yeah. Completely agree with what Carr said there. It's Brighton. It's a team that is on a par with ourselves. We should be beating these sort of teams at home.
Rob, prediction for Saturday?
I think we'll put in a good performance, but let's say 3-1.
Lee?
A scrappy 1-0 win, I'll take it. If it goes in an own goal, I'll take that.
And finally,
It doesn't matter how they go in, mate. As long as they go in and we win the game, that's all that matters.
I'm going to
I wouldn't mind a nice performance like Cardiff last season at home, where we put 3 in. It was a nice, easy day.
Would like
Be
an
nice, but
Almiron worldie.
Kyle, I think the question was, what do you think the score will be?
Kyle doesn't do score predictions.
I'm
you
not a
know
score
this.
prediction type, but a win is a win.
A win is a win is a win, definitely. I'm going to go and agree with Paul, as I've just seen his comment come in. I'm going to go Newcastle 2. Brighton and Hove Albion 0. I think Almiron and Joe Linton, 2 men.
Yes, Almiron. Come on.
Almiron and Joe Linton will get on the score sheet. Mark my words, if you like a bet, get a bet on that. We're going to have a quick break, and in part 4 we're going to talk about Mike Ashley, the pantomime villain. Is it justified or not? That's on Nova Radio North East straight after this break.
When I walk into the kitchen, you saw the look on my face. You saw the look on my heart to get out of this place. I seen something I've never seen before. When you put on the pineapple, we couldn't be friends anymore. Pineapple thousands, go on pizza. It's a fruit and you know that. Pineapple doesn't go on pizza. They just don't belong. When I walk into the kitchen, you saw the look on my face. You saw the look on my heart to get out of this place. I seen something I've never seen before. When you put on the pineapple, we couldn't be friends anymore. Pineapple doesn't go on pizza. It's a fruit and you know that. Pineapple doesn't go on pizza. They just don't belong.
And that was Time Machine by Conor Michael, one of my mates, but he's been on Nova Radio loads of times, so it's probably a song that is quite familiar to Nova Radio listeners that are out there. Part 4 is about Mr. Mike Ashley, the owner.
Ooh.
Oh, don't say
Ofcom
that.
words.
Apologies for the bad language of saying Mike Ashley's name on this radio station, but hey ho, we'll carry on. There's some interesting quotes this week, has to be said, Lee, with Mike Ashley. It was an AGM in London, and members of the London Magpie group are outside with banners saying, basically get out of the club and, sports neglect, which is a popular banner as well. It's been a tough week for Mike Ashley at Sports Direct. Members of the London Magpie group were actually quite clever actually about what they did this week. they've bought shares into Sports Direct so they could pop along, and then after the AGM finished, they got rid of it. They sold the shares, and it's quite clever, isn't it?
Well, they're not daft, are they? Because they live in London. Obviously, a lot of their AGM meetings are now based down south as well. Any bad publicity for Mike Ashley regarding his business, he hates with a passion. If it's bad business about the stuff that he's not too bothered about, maybe the club or one of these lesser shops that he's bought, he's not too concerned. But if it's about Sports Direct, that's where he gets upset. Obviously, we'll play an audio clip in a minute, but just touch upon that interview with Sky News. It was very weird seeing him like that. Some people were saying that he's rattled, but I actually thought he was quite passionate talking about Sports Direct, and we know that's his baby. That's the most... I said you didn't, Cal? In the group chat, I went, that's the most passionate that I've ever seen Mike Ashley, because when he does interviews, he's quite laid back. He's calm, he's cool, but he's very, yeah, come on. And he was a bit... Has he had a couple of vodkas or something, or what's happening? But very weird seeing him with his hands all over the place, and I know he's been mimicked a lot, but I thought he spoke passionately about his own company because he loves his own company, and he knows the ins and outs of Sports Direct. He doesn't know all of it, which I probably, to some extent, I might agree with, because it's a massive company going across the world now. So, just strange, but yeah, going back to your question, London Magpie, they're there all the time, good on them.
Yeah, definitely. I think one thing I have to mention is that the poor corporate governance was mentioned, that quote, and 31% voted against him as continuing as the chief executive of Sports Direct, which I found absolutely astonishing. The fact that I'm not going to say
It's not enough, though, is it?
It's not enough, but 31%. I think that's a lot to start with, to be brutally honest with you, Lee.
But what he turned around and said, because then he twisted and flipped it on Newcastle United. So he was answering it, but he flipped it, saying, because the media friendly and all of this sort of stuff, because I am a footballing owner, they're worried that the media...
Do you use that term loosely? Because I do. Footballing owner.
No, but he was twisting, he wasn't answering a question, he was like half answering it, saying, well, because I'm a footballer...
Oh, well, you blame Newcastle to suit his agenda. He always will. That's Mike Ashley for you.
Probably, he's probably trying to deflect the criticism, and he was very smirky
What's new
about
with
it.
that?
But what he was trying to get at is like saying that the media, because he's a footballer, it comes with bad media, and the people inside that
Not if
company,
you're a good
the higher
owner, it
end,
doesn't.
don't like it because it brings bad press, and they're a bit scared by it. And I keep saying is, if you are the people that want to go and target Mike Ashley, go and get his business, because no disrespect, I know we tried the boycott and all that with Arsenal, and it didn't, for us in our own perspective, it wasn't successful. It might be successful because it's not a full attendance, and afterwards it wasn't, but targeting Newcastle United, like shouting and chanting and going to boycotts and all of this and marching, that doesn't affect Mike Ashley for me. It affects Sports Direct.
Definitely. Liam put in an email as well. Obviously, if you want to get involved in the show, there's still plenty of time to do that. Contact nftvstudio@gmail.com. It says, as you will be talking about Mike Ashley, even if we did a proper boycott like Sunderland fans and Blackpool fans did before they got taken over, would it make Mike Ashley more of a willing seller like these protest group thinks will happen? Do you agree that if we did a full-out boycott, Rob, and say we picked a game, I'm just going to pretend to pick a game, Manchester United's one next home game, so we just completely boycotted that game, do you think that would impact Mike Ashley, and maybe the bad press that he would get from that would probably accelerate a takeover?
Well, the first premise of the argument is that you're going to have to organise a boycott in the first place, and that is something that's impossible to do. It's impossible to get everything, like every single fan on board with a boycott, because it caused so much divide over the summer, and also so much divide on the opening day. So the first premise of the argument fails. Therefore, it's impossible to have the following premises of what that future argument holds.
I can understand that. I think if you get bad press as a football club or as an owner, you've got to try and spin it into some positives. And the team aren't doing well on the pitch, which at the minute they're just hovering above the relegation zone. When does Mike actually press the panic button? Because I think it's getting to that stage now, isn't it? Really,
the panic button's normally January. I don't know if Newcastle are languish, and that's when we normally splash the cash a little bit. So I think Steve Bruce will still be in a job until at least the very minimum January, because he knows that Mike Ashley will panic, and because effectively although Newcastle United is not his passion, we know that Sports Direct is, the attendances will hurt, but I don't think that hurts enough of them to make a change as of yet. However, if he knows he's going to lose money, say if we're 5 points adrift in January or something and got a couple of injuries, he will put money in the club, I think, to try and make money back by staying in the Premier League. That's the only way that Mike Ashley will put a large investment in January.
Yeah, definitely. Lee has mentioned that obviously investing in January. He's never picked the Newcastle team, so even if you got new players in, Kyle, he would never pick the Newcastle team. I'm just going to put that. Have Newcastle fans even thought that Mike Ashley would ever pick the football team like in any game?
I mean,
I've never thought of that personally.
I remember one from Leicester in the FA Cup a couple of years ago when John Carver was manager in particular, and a lot of people thought that game he picked the team. It was on my birthday actually. I remember it well.
Happy birthday!
But, a bit late, but you know.
Did you get your birthday card off Mike Williamson?
No, it wasn't that game.
Oh, wasn't that
no,
that one?
It wasn't. It wasn't a very game. It was in the FA Cup. We got beat. We got beat 1-0. But I think there's one thing you haven't mentioned thus far, and I think we need, if there was ever a time to go and protest out Sports Direct, it would be now, because if you want to hurt Mike Ashley,
if you want that number higher than 31%,
all for want to at some point, you want to hurt Mike Ashley because of what he's done to us over the past 12 years at this football club. If there's any time to put pressure on him, it would be target Sports Direct now. I'm sorry, but we need to hit him where it hurts now, and where it hurts for him, as his passionate interview states, is Sports Direct. And I think if we target Sports Direct now and put the pressure on Mike Ashley in the Sports Direct sense, that will hurt Mike Ashley. I don't think 4,000, 5,000 short of a full attendance at St James's Park isn't going to hurt him. I don't think shouting outside the club shop's going to hurt him. I think being outside of Sports Direct, in the thousands that it was on the opening day of last season against Spurs, that at this time where he's under so much pressure from his shareholders would be the perfect time to hurt Mike Ashley and hit him where it hurts for messing with our football club. Because you said from the start, we're not going to unite as an entire fan base and have an empty stadium at St James's Park. It's just not going to happen, which is a damn shame, because people on social media, in particular Twitter and everything like that, will say in the hundreds and even thousands that, oh, you need to boycott, you need to do this, you need to do that. It's a popular vote, and you see many jump on the roller coaster and say they're going to boycott, but in the end they don't, and they go to games and everything like that, and it's just a mickey take, because they don't stand for what they say on social media, and a boycott isn't going to happen. So the best way to hurt him is through his other businesses, through boycotting Sports Direct, and in particular now is the perfect time to rally round Sports Direct and protest outside of it, because we said last year, sorry Lee, I'll get this out, the shares of Sports Direct dropped significantly because of our protests. So what better time to annoy the shareholders of Sports Direct even more so on Mike Ashley by protesting and lowering the shares even more. For me, that's a perfect way to get back at him.
The one I wanted to bring up was the social media. Remember, they didn't post, and that would have hurt their business, because they'll post like new trainers or new tops or whatever, and on Facebook and Twitter they weren't posting because they had the backlash of 70, 80, 90, 100 replies on every tweet. Boycott, Ashley this, whatever, obviously we can't say it on radio, but that hurt that business, and that'll start a panic mode for them. And I think targeting his baby, because effectively Newcastle United is our baby. Effectively, we all love the club.
Of course.
Let's flip reverse. Let's go and get his baby, because if those shareholder votes 31% shoot up, bye bye Mike Ashley.
Yeah, I think it definitely. Yeah. I think if you're looking at maybe even 40%, I think even like a little bit more. That's nearly half, Robin. It is his baby at the end of the day. Sports Direct does very, very well. Well, it has done very, very well. Kyle talked passionately about the share price. It was 800 pence not a long time ago, and it's now got down. There's 260 pence per share. That's a massive chunk. That's nearly 3/4 straight away. That's a lot.
Yeah, and I think another thing to consider is that, yes, we talk about Mike Ashley, Sports Direct is his baby. And because it is his baby, it's almost as if Newcastle United Football Club is a little extra. It's almost as if like an insignificant extra in his eyes. And so it's almost like us trying to hit his business called Newcastle United Football Club, it doesn't really appear to make sense because he doesn't mind if we go under or so. That's how it feels at least. Whereas Sports Direct, who knows? I mean, I've noticed a couple of comments in the stream that hopefully the best case scenario would be that obviously Ashley sells, and he could well be forced into doing that if Sports Direct, if selling the club is his only way of saving Sports Direct if it reaches a really critical level.
It might be critical already because Sports Direct don't have an auditor at the minute. They might have to ask the government to have if they can appoint.
Well, it was Jordan, wasn't he? Bring one in. Come and check it in, wasn't he?
Yeah, and the thing is as well, he says that he's not worried about the finances, and this isn't what came out in the AGM, but in a couple of fan groups have asked to see the finances of Newcastle United Football Club. They've sent emails and they've sent letters to Lee Charnley and Mike Ashley. And
Personally hand-delivered letters.
Personally hand-delivered as well, and they still haven't had any reply even to that. So,
shock.
Of course, it isn't the biggest shock in the world, but it just shows that he's very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? He's very worried.
Secretive.
He's very, very worried at the minute, and I think he doesn't want someone to look at everything in terms of Sports Direct and everything in terms of Newcastle. But another quote that Mike actually came out with says, "I can't run Sports Direct like they just had one store at the very beginning, and I wish I could know everything that's going on in the company." There might be a situation that he doesn't know what's going on in everything in Newcastle, or is he just playing? Is he just playing a different? Is he just reading a different script to everybody else? Because I think he knows a lot more than what people make out. I don't know if anybody has a point on that at all.
I'll probably agree a little bit because if your company's massive, you don't know the full ins and outs of your company. It's impossible. So it's just because it's global. I mean, he'll not know what's happening in the shop in Thailand today, does he? No, of course he doesn't. Unless he personally rings that shop. But I think you're all right about not letting on. I think he does know a lot more than what he is letting on. I was
going to say you underestimate the power of his lying ability.
No, but I think he is telling a little bit of truth in there. But I think he isn't letting on. He knows a hell of a lot more about his business than he wants people to come in. And like I say, I go back to that interview with Sky News. He just seems very, very out of character. He's talking passionately about Sports Direct, but I've never seen him all come on in and all of this. I've never seen Mike Ashley. People say he's rattled, but it just
Could you imagine if that man was Pinocchio?
Do you know what it
How long would his nose be?
It reminded me of Mr. Tumble. That's what it was. It was Mr. Tumble, come on in. It reminded me that when I seen that against God, that looks like Mr. Tumble all over. Grown up Mr. Tumble.
Well,
that's an insult to Mr. Tumble, to be honest.
Let's hear from Mike Ashley after a very tough week for him.
And by the way, let's challenge them. If you're not afraid of the scrutiny, come and do it. Come and do it, because what you're not bothered about my numbers. You're bothered about the attention that comes with me. You're worried about the scrutiny for your other clients. You're not worried about the scrutiny for me. What will happen is that I get the bit of the media, I'm not being rude, frenzy around the Mike Ashley Football Club owning. It's media, guys. It's panto villain time. Please, it's not the real world. And that extra media allows people to, if you like, sometimes throw stones that aren't justified.
You mentioned a panto villain, and you
Yep.
play up to it a little, perhaps, sometimes, I wonder.
Well, I think so,
But
yeah.
some of this is down to your personal style.
Okay.
You going to change?
No. One thing, from when I floated, everybody knew I does exactly what it says on the tin. So why would I change? And just so we're clear, I don't pick the Newcastle team, and I never have, because that gets thrown at me as well. If you're me, that's where you get this, okay guys, panto villain, let's just take that down a notch if that's okay.
He likes to call himself that
He's
from
behind
time to time. I mean, he said on Sky Sports on November a couple of years ago, I think, I'm not this, I'm not that. It doesn't matter, mate, at the end of the day. He wants to be the pantomime villain, he likes to paint himself out as that, but for me he's more than that. But to describe Mike Ashley in full, you'd need an Ofcom licence to swear on this programme to fully sum the man up, but honestly, it's just lies. Most of the things he says is lies.
We can say it because he's actually been convicted as a liar in court of law.
Yeah, that was a long time ago, and obviously we can't say it because it
As Rafa Benitez says, a leopard does not change his spots.
Yeah, well, I don't know who he was talking about there, like, but we'll.
But did you notice though, Johnny, because that's the first time you've heard that clip, that he deflected it on I don't pick the Newcastle team. Nobody asked him about that question about Newcastle United, and he's flipping it onto Newcastle to deter it, to avoid it. It's a bit like a politician. You ask a politician a question, they don't answer that question. They answer a different question to you.
They do, but what I would say to that is that why would you deflect it to Newcastle? Because Newcastle aren't doing great. If Newcastle were in the top 4, top 6, and a really good start of the season, then that would be
the centre of attention would be the players, the squad, the players that are doing so well. Whereas, when things aren't going well, like today, then of course you look to people look for someone to blame, and of course it stops at Mike Ashley's door for a lot of people.
It doesn't. It's very bad PR. It's very, very bad PR. I think he's been very bad at PR for a very, very long time. You look at the first interview he did with Sky, it was probably his best interview, in my personal opinion. He's only done 2 or 3.
Is that the sit-down one? Or was that
No, that was the one before the West Ham game.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was a good interview. I thought if that's what he believed in, then go with it. I thought, obviously afterwards it didn't really justify, but it was sounding like a good interview. But since then, the sit-down one with David Craig wasn't a good interview, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, Ashley controlled that.
He did, and he controlled the questions, and he interrupted and said, "Don't leave out Kevin Keegan." And I got it wrong with Kevin. And I think since the first interview, I think PR-wise, has been absolutely atrocious, and they should have done something about it a lot sooner. But that's a different argument altogether. And there's a question from Adam from Facebook. He says, "If Ashley doesn't sell, can you see a similar situation to FC United of Manchester or an FC United of Newcastle potentially happening?"
I'll open the floor with this one.
Oh, you want to open it? Can't go for it.
No, definitely not. You see how we organise protests and things like that. You've got like 700 anti-Ashley groups on Twitter and everything like that. You'd have about 45 United of Newcastle or something like that. Newcastle FC, Newcastle City Council, Newcastle North Shields. You'd have every Newcastle under the sun trying to apply to the FA for a football club. I don't think we can unite anything, and I don't think we'll be able to unite to make a brand new football club similar to United of Manchester.
Well, I'm going to ask Rob this. Rob, you're only doing FC United of Manchester if you hate what's going on at a football club. Don't Newcastle fans hate what's going on at the minute?
Yes, but at the same time, it's still a Newcastle United with decades and decades and decades of history behind them. If we start afresh with a new club, long before we've gone out of business, if that ever will happen, of course, then starting afresh, it just wouldn't have the same identity to it, for me personally.
Jack's just said, "I'd love it if Ashley took part in a fans forum." Lee, what's a fans forum?
Oh, God.
A force. That's what it is. A fans forum is meant to be a forum where fans go and talk about anything to do with the club, predominantly off the field topics. However, that's meant to occur every 3 months. Newcastle have it once every 12 months, which is breaking.
Well, it was once every 3 months, and then it's kind of hit the fan now, hasn't it?
Well, it's meant to be to voice our concerns, things that are to fix wrongs. That's what a fans forum is meant to be. So the fans, it could be anything, whether it's ticketing, it could be something about the stadium, money involvement, what's happened with youth development, whatever. That's what a fans forum is. You raise those concerns, health, safety, whatever. That's meant to be every 3 months, and that's the one chance that a fan or group of selected fans, which, by the way, should be changed, because you're meant to vote, or the club are meant to reappoint members on that, and they haven't. It's been the same people.
Well, they can't reappoint fans or anything like that if they don't have them, Lee, to be fair.
No, but
it needs to be changed, maybe.
It has to be changed, because it's meant to be every 3 months, and you're meant to have new forum members, not the same ones that have been there, who nice pally and all of that. You've got to change it, mix it up, and ask questions. And I think they shouldn't handpick. It should be people who are in I wouldn't say authority or a higher position, but the same people are there. Change it for somebody who's been in the club for 30 years, knows the club inside out, season ticket, or whatever, But it's the one time that the chance can ask the club this, that, and the other, and it just doesn't happen. We don't get that throughout. In the club's communication, as we all know, it's absolutely shocking.
I think that
Fun 88 have a better Twitter account than Newcastle.
But it comes from the top, and I think obviously how much of Mike Ashley and Lee Charnley control that remains to be seen. But it is a very good discussion point, and obviously get your comments. If you're watching on the stream, obviously you can email us, contact at nftvstudio@gmail.com. If there's anything that we've missed out on this subject, we'd love to get your questions on board and we'll discuss it in the last 20 minutes or so. We're going to have a quick break, but in part 5 we're going to be talking about the Premier League results this weekend. We'll be touching on Norwich's 3-2 win over the champions Manchester City, and we'll also get reaction to today's games: Bournemouth 3, Everton 1, and Watford 2, rather, Arsenal 2. That's all on the final part of the Black and White Show here on Nova Radio North East.
You're the night sky trying to make me see your stars, but the dark gets lonely. Now I see violet, I can feel silence, and the dark's all that I see. When your stars have burnt out and your heart makes no sound, I'll find violet in your eyes. You'll always be my night sky. You'll always be my night sky. Be my night sky. You'll always be my night sky. You're the night sky hiding behind dark grey clouds. I can't figure you out now. I see your blue. There is so much cold in you, and the silence is so loud when you go. I just stay dancing with my shadow all day. Watch the tide. I can't find the point where our two paths align. Right? You're the night sky. I'm trying to see your stars, but I've always feared the dark. Now I see violet. I can feel your silence. You always feel so far when your stars have burnt out and your heart makes no sound. I'll find violet in your eyes. You'll always be my night sky. You'll always be my night sky. Be my night sky. You'll always be my night sky.
Show here on Nova Radio North East 102.5 FM. Obviously, that was Pavarotti, and I think.
Are you sure? Because our YouTube people didn't hear that.
I bet they're glad.
If you're listening on the radio, obviously it was obviously Pavarotti and Italian Night. He comes into mind. So Bobby Robson, the managing the England side, they got to the semi-finals of the World Cup, losing 6-5 or 5. Lost on penalties regardless. To West Germany, unfortunately. Me, Kyle, and Rob weren't born.
Oh, thanks.
before
There
then,
was
but-
2 former Toon players as well. We missed them.
Lee, how old had you been there? 10?
4.
Oh, 4.
4, I would have been.
25.
I would have been 4. I would have been just a bit. Wasn't into football then though.
You had hair back then as well.
Oh, taking me out because Paul's not here. Paul, get back in the studio right now.
Yeah, he's
Get
on,
griffed, yeah.
he's on the chat.
At least I have any postcodes.
Ooh, he's going to go off in the chat now, I hope you know that.
Well, yeah, we'll leave that one for another day with Paul versus Lee.
Yeah, I'd do a YouTube trend, get them in a boxing ring.
Boxing ring, that'll be fascinating to
Eddie
see.
Hearn on the stage, chanting them out.
Big names yet.
Not big names, well, you never know. But part 5 is about the Premier League. The Premier League was back after the international break. England won 2 games, obviously, because it's the qualifiers. So let's just talk about Premier League football. Rob, I'm going to let you talk about probably one of the biggest results or biggest upsets so far this season. and that is Norwich City winning 3-2 against the champions Manchester City.
Yeah.
Norwich, well, Daniel Farke came out and said that basically my whole club or whole squad are injured pretty much, but they put an 11 out there. They had 2 goalkeepers on the bench, but what spirit and what team spirit by Norwich City. McLean, Cantwell, giving Norwich a 2-goal lead, and they looked really, really good and comfortable.
Yeah, it was amazing for Norwich, and it's amazing to see a massive underdog thrash Manchester City, one of the best teams in the world right now. And I remember looking at the starting 11 after the game and seeing how much it cost both sides. Norwich's starting 11 cost them around £4 million combined, whereas Manchester City 400 million.
And this is what Rob is good at. Stats.
Good stat, man.
Man City got back into it for a grow just before half time, and Timo Pukki just can't seem to stop scoring at the minute. And
modern day Michu,
he at the minute he's better than Michu in my opinion.
He was good back in his day.
Well, just different types of goals that he's scoring at the minute, Kyle. I'd like to talk about the fact that Norwich went 3-1 up, and it was a defensive mess by John Stones and Nicholas Otamendi in particular that allowed Pukki to score an open goal pretty much, and Norwich were 3-1 up with 50 minutes on the clock. They held out in the end after Rodri scoring with about 5 minutes to go to make it 3-2, but what a result that is for Daniel Farke on his side, and Timo Pukki just can't stop scoring.
No, he can't, and as I said before, I think he's a modern day Michu, but he's doing very well, and he deserves the Player of the Month that he got. And I mean, he's just been so consistent, and the goals he's scoring against the big teams that he's already scored against Liverpool, he's already scored against Chelsea, and now Manchester City. So it's not a fluke. I mean, he scored a hat-trick past us as well. I suppose it's a good result for us in a way, because it kind of justifies. I mean, we were terrible against Norwich, but it's one of them where you could say maybe they're a better team than a lot of people expected, and nobody was talking about them before the start of the season. I know Pukki gets all the headlines, but Cantwell, he's a very good winger, very direct, and we'll probably had the opportunity to sign him when we were overpaid for Jacob Murphy, and that's probably another Norwich player that we should have signed 2 years ago. Maybe Maddison beforehand, but now Cantwell as well, because he's such a good winger, and a lot of assists and a lot of things like that for him.
Definitely.
Here is a certain stat for you. Yesterday's win for Norwich was the first time that Man City dropped points away from home since a certain Matt Ritchie scored the winner against them back in January.
What a day.
I still can't believe we actually won that game. I'm brutally honest, it's ridiculous.
1-0 down after 30 seconds. I was expecting
head
a
start.
score.
The Norwich one didn't massively surprise me. I know you were giving me the score highlight when I was driving home, Kyle, but I said when I was down Carrow Road, didn't I? I said in the video that Norwich will surprise 1 or 2 teams. Because they attacked Liverpool, obviously Liverpool turned them over. They attacked us, demolished us, and they attacked Man City as well. So I wouldn't be too surprised if they come up with 1 or 2 more surprise results later on that season. And you would probably say now, I know it's early, but Norwich are probably out the 3 promoted clubs. You would probably put your money on them.
Still, yeah.
Definitely look the strongest, but I disagree slightly with Norwich getting the result, especially 9 injuries as well. But for me, Man City, this is the best team in the Premier League history. If you look at it statistically, 100 points, 100 points, 98 points. You've got to look at it as better than.
That's how you judge that, because I think Arsenal unbeaten season is the best team for me.
No, I'm going Manchester City.
Man United's 2018.
No, Man City for me. I think
Arsenal unbeaten. Well, put it in the comments.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a good debate. That best Premier League team in
best,
history.
Best team in Premier League history. Get your comments in and get your emails in as well. Contact NFT
100 points.
gmail.com.
100 points is an amazing achievement, but stopping a team who got 97 points from winning the title, that's an even bigger achievement.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
So,
come on, you Arsenal! Get in the comments. Arsenal unbeaten season. What season.
Arsenal love a good.
I think the quality, the depth and quality of the league 10 years ago was a lot better than it is now. Personally, if you look outside the top 6, it was a lot closer. So, how would a Man City team do against the league's teams of 10 years ago?
How would a Man City team do without no money?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question. Literally.
Richard Dunn. There's your answer.
He's just done a pun. You're beating Rob.
I haven't done a pun.
No, Johnny just done a pun. You missed it.
So that's the million-dollar question for a team.
Oh, yeah, Johnny. It's only 15
minutes left, don't worry, Carl. Wolves 2, Chelsea 5. What a goal by Tomori. That's Tomori. I think that should be.
Well, keep singing, though. Keep going. Keep going, Johnny. Keep going.
That's the only thing I could think of when I was thinking that this earlier on when that goal went. It was a fantastic finish from Tomori to give Chelsea the lead.
Tomori Katspire.
Yeah, exactly. But Tammy Abraham, you know, a lot of obviously racism in football is quite ripe at the minute, and he's just shutting up all the haters. The 3 goals, 3 different sort of goals, a header, taking on a defender and putting in the bottom corner, and the first one was just a natural instinct from a striker in form as well. He was leading the goal scoring charts until Aguero scored on Saturday night, but great performance by Tammy Abraham in particular.
Scoring goals for fun, and since credit Frank Lampard for being brave and going with the youth as well. I know the transfer policies helped him a little bit, of course, but Tammy Abraham has gradually improved, quite similar to Ashley Barnes for Burnley. Not in terms of playing or nothing like that, in terms of each season, he's just gradually getting better. Obviously, he's being loaned out, and the loan system, and it's been criticised with Chelsea, but it actually has worked with Tammy Abraham because he was loaned out to Swansea. He didn't do that great, let's be all honest, but he was playing first team football, that was key. Went to Villa, scored a lot of goals in the Championship, and he was linked to us, turned us down allegedly, I must stress, because of the nightlife apparently. That was a bit weird. Didn't believe none of that. And then obviously now, hey, could be called up for England. He deserves that chance now, so he's banging the goal. So
well, he's played for one of the right teams to get called up.
Yeah,
definitely.
A London club.
Definitely a London club. Talk about another London club, Rob. Tottenham 4, Crystal Palace 0. All the goals in the first half. 2 for Heung-min Son, 1 for Eric Lamela, and an own goal by the former Newcastle fullback Patrick Van Aanholt.
And Sunderland.
And numerous other clubs I can imagine he was on loan with before settling down at Crystal Palace. But Rob, 4 goals all in the first half. A couple of counter-attacking chances as well by Tottenham, but a very comfortable afternoon for Mauricio Pochettino on his side.
Unbelievably comfortable. It's very difficult to believe that was the same Palace side that beat Manchester United just a few weeks ago. Absolutely disastrous from Palace. And Spurs, I know it's a massive status symbol, the massive stadium, but they hadn't won since the opening day before yesterday. So it's a big shock to the system, but of course, I suppose Spurs turning things around was only going to be a matter of time. But in that form, a 4-0 win, especially all the goals coming in before half time, it's a big shock for Palace. It'll be interesting to see how they come back from this.
Crystal Palace's next game is Wolves. That's a big game already, Kyle. Really,
teams out of form.
Well, beating Spurs away isn't for everyone, but it is a massive. It is a massive game for them. They're one of the teams I reckon are going to be down the bottom. I mean, there's calls that Zaha's asked to rip up his contract as well, and it is obviously one.
Yeah, literally Zaha FC, aren't they?
And he's the main man. He won them how many penalties last season? He scored how many goals for them last season?
I think there's a stat where Palace won a game last season for the first time without Zaha in about 2 years.
Yeah, that's how important he is to them. And I think if they lose him in the January, they could end up finishing a season like Hull did in 2008 with not winning a game in months and just scraping along.
Yeah,
because I think they're a very poor side without him.
Possibly so. You never know with Crystal Palace. It depends what Crystal Palace turn up, has to be said. Roy Hodgson has some big decisions and big games coming up, especially with the fact that Wolves, who haven't won yet this season, are the next on their horizon. Let's talk about the Harry Maguire derby. Manchester United 1, Leicester 0. Marcus Rashford scored from the penalty spot. No Paul Pogba to take this penalty, but Marcus Rashford obviously missed.
Man United get a penalty? No.
At Old Trafford as well. But Rashford did score from the spot, Lee. I expect Leicester to get something from this game. I'm not.
Yeah, they're slight favourites, weren't they?
I think,
which is strange.
Weird. Yeah, very weird. But you've got to give credit to Man United. I think they've just done enough. It was quite strange because they had chances, Leicester, in particular Maddison in the first half. It was a great save from De Gea, but it was a very stupid penalty to give away. And Manchester United didn't really look back after that. But it's 3 points for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and it's really important. I
think this win was massive for him because his record of late, his win ratio.
He had a worse win ratio than Javi Garcia in his last 15 games, and Javi Garcia's been shown the door. So,
have you turned it Rob?
Yeah, I've got a couple of stats. I've got a couple of stats lined up.
The competition. I didn't care about Sorry, I don't think Benitez.
Yeah, the glasses, Kyle.
I don't think I've just said Benitez. Sorry, I don't think that Solskjaer actually cared about the performance. I think he just needed that win because the win ratio was really poor, and I think the pressure is cranking up. There's a lot of. I bet there's been a lot of bets placed that he's the next manager to go. A lot of people are saying that he's not going to get past Christmas. Paul was one of them as well. I wouldn't bet against it, but.
I mean, they did get outplayed for a lot of that game
But
against
Leicester
Leicester.
are a good side, they're everyone's
Yeah, but
favourites
it's
to
Man
break
United
in.
at Old Trafford. Leicester shouldn't be outplaying them, like.
But why are people putting Leicester's favourites? Because
I mean,
Leicester,
if it went for penalties, how many points would Man United have? They've had 3 penalties in the last 4 games.
Palace,
You know what I mean?
Brighton,
So,
they get a lot of penalties.
yeah, but if it went for penalties, Solskjaer's side could well be where we are in the league.
I think he's in risk, and I think it was a massive win for him, huge win for him.
I've spoken this at length with people outside of the channel, and honestly, I
Who are these people?
me best mates, if you know, in the Man
These
United.
plastic friends.
Plastic Man United friends.
Yes, Kyle, dig them out.
They
Make sure they say this.
They do. I mean, one stands by Solskjaer, but the other is happy that he's a legend. They're giving him a chance and everything like that. But he does know to go to the next level that it would be without Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in charge. Because for me, I think he's just got the Man U job off the back of being a former player, and it's poor from Man United, if you ask me. They've went with someone who severely underperformed with the Cardiff team in the Premier League, and they got relegated. So the question is how good's he going to do with this team? He signed the right players, don't get us wrong, but I just don't think he's capable of taking them to the level that the Man United fans expect and need.
Yeah, definitely. It's an interesting point with Manchester United. Newcastle have got Manchester United in a couple of weeks as well, so it'll be interesting to see how we get on against Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's side. It finished Brighton 1, Burnley 1. I'll quickly touch upon that one. Obviously, we've talked a lot about Brighton, so we'll quickly run through that one. The fact that Neil Maupay scored for Brighton, but Jeff Hendrick scored a 90th minute equaliser. It was a fantastic finish, has to be said. Hendrick shot from about 30 yards out, drilled into the bottom right-hand side corner. No chance from Matt Ryan in the Brighton goal, which gave Sean Dyche's side a point back up to Lancashire. Sheffield United 0, Southampton 1. And Rob, if I pronounce his name wrong, let me know. But Djenepo.
Second goal of the season, isn't it?
It is, but it's a fantastic individual goal. But Sheffield United and Chris Wilder will be disappointed in the fact they gave the ball away in the middle of their own midfield. But an individual run by Djenepo took on a couple of
Djenepo.
Sorry.
I feel like they're going to bring in the song, piano.
Djenepo dances. There you go. Djenepo dances.
Elocution lessons.
Keep saying it, Johnny.
Djenepo danced his way through. Could have actually been a free kick on the edge of the box by Norwood trying to get her on his shirt, but went through the defence and slotted it past Dean Henderson, which is an easier name to say. Has to be said, and gave Southampton all 3 points. But pretty sharp. The former Southampton striker got sent off, which it was a red card. Studs was showing on the shin. It was nasty by the Sheffield United man. He is Mr. Sheffield United, but he's sharply disappointed about that. So he'll be missing the next 3 games. And Sheffield United now, you have to say, Lee,
it's good
it's not a result that they needed, is it?
Well, it's an early relegation candidate, isn't it? I think it's a great win for Southampton. So you'll be pinpointing, you look at all the fixtures and you think, right, okay, this is one, and then all the big teams, you just think, 3 hits. So even though earlier on that season, Sheffield United didn't get a point from that point might relegate them. I know you can say that with all the other games, but you've got to beat the teams around you first and foremost. And if you beat the teams around you, if you're down there at the bottom, you'll stay up. If you're at the top, you're more than likely to win the league if you're beating your rivals. So you've got to beat the teams around you. Unfortunately, that's a big knock of confidence for them. But I know they started well, but the back to reality now, they're starting to lose a couple of games. And welcome to the Premier League. It's not nice.
Welcome to the Premier League. Their rivals Sheffield Wednesday won 2-0 away at Huddersfield Town, which would have been a good weekend for them. Leeds also won 1-0 against 2-0 rather against Barnsley.
Hi, Eddie Nketiah doing very well.
Yeah, doing very well. Ian Wright put a tweet, so a favourite of a tweet that Eddie Nketiah scored, which obviously being an Arsenal legend would be absolutely delighted about as well. And just Sunday's games to get through. Bournemouth 3, Everton 1. Callum Wilson giving Bournemouth the lead from a corner. Wasn't cleared by Everton, and he scored a header from close range to give Bournemouth the lead. Dominic Calvert-Lewin put Everton back on level pegging after good play from Richarlison down the right-hand side. It was a great header from Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Obviously a lot of pressure on him. Now that what's that? The Juventus striker called? Sorry,
Moise Kean.
Moise Kean, yes, of course. Who they bought big money for. Keeping them out of the team at the minute, which obviously that's good for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. It was 1-1 at half time, but Callum Wilson got his second of the game to make it 3-1. But before that, Ryan Fraser. Free kick whipped in.
It's a disastrous moment for Fabian Delph, isn't it?
He tries to use his left foot where he should use his right foot to intercept it.
A right foot never exists for him, unfortunately.
No, for him anyway, yeah. But Ryan Fraser was credited with the goal, and Callum Wilson just managed to have the freedom of the vitality, Rob, for the last goal. Just one ball that got through
and
the two defenders of Everton.
And if you're going to beat Jordan Pickford, the best way is doing it over him, because he's only got little arms.
Yeah.
Yes, Rob.
Yeah.
Rob's made someone laugh.
Yeah. And that's without a pun as well, so he's done very well. But Bournemouth got all 3 points, and that's Eddie Howe's first home win of the season. And just in the last couple of hours, Watford 2, Arsenal 2, Aubameyang scoring both of Arsenal's goals. There's a lot more pressure on him now because of Lacazette being out until October. The second goal, fantastic teamwork. As we said, 20 passes to get from on the end of an Aubameyang. I was going to say an Aubameyang cross there, but it wasn't Aubameyang's cross. It was an Ainsley Maitland-Niles cross to Aubameyang, who couldn't miss the empty net to make it 2-0. Watford scored from Tom Cleverley after Arsenal decided to keep the ball in their own box, which was intercepted by Cleverley to make it 2-1. And then Pereira from the penalty spot made it 2-2, and Arsenal dropped points again through defensive errors. It means that they are on 8 points now, and the same as Chelsea, Leicester, Manchester United, and the North London rivals Tottenham as well, 2 points off Manchester City in second. But it's Liverpool who lead the way on 15 points, 5 wins out of 5. Next weekend, Liverpool take on Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. We'll have obviously all the latest with that game, with the Black and White show next Sunday. Liverpool travel to Stamford Bridge, which will be a big, big game. And Liverpool hopefully make it 6 out of 6 if you're a Liverpool fan. That's watching because of the Liverpool-Newcastle game, of course. But it's good to have Premier League football back, isn't it, Kyle?
It's fantastic to have it back. I mean, what do you do over the summer? There's nothing really much to do if there's no major international tournament. But yeah, it's fantastic to have it back. It's because the Black and White show towards the international break, the discussions were long and hard into off the field topics, and
we had to make a quiz up, didn't we?
We had to talk
quiz champion over here.
We had to talk about death in the national break. So do you know what I mean? It got long and dreary in the holidays, and the fatigue of the potential takeover and all that nonsense. It's good to be talking about football again every week.
Well, just quickly, guys, we've got like 2 minutes left, but we'll talk about this for about a minute or so. There's a Monday night game. That's Aston Villa versus West Ham at Villa Park.
Come on, West Ham.
It's the battle of the Claret and Blues, Rob. Who's going to come out on top? I think it's a pretty even game. The fact that it's at Villa Park, I think if it was at the London Stadium, you'd probably sway towards West Ham.
I think if there was to be a winner, then yes, probably West Ham. But for me, I'm so sure there's going to be a draw that I'd be willing to put money on it.
Ooh, betting man.
I think it's just got 1-1 written all over it. It's very similar to Brighton Burnley yesterday. Not to mention it was also last on match of the day to go with it. But yeah, tomorrow it's going to be a draw.
Lee,
just don't look at me when in terms of match fixing.
The evolution of Rob, the pun man, the stat man, and now the betting man.
Yeah, definitely. Lee, any hope for Aston Villa? Maybe if Jack Grealish gets more on the ball, do you feel that he might get...
Any team that Aston Villa plays, I wish the other team wins. I hate Aston
Even
Villa.
Sunderland?
No, Sunderland of course, but the team in the Premier League is Villa lose every single game. I would love for me.
Kyle, just very, very quickly, very briefly, quick prediction. I know you don't do predictions, but for Newcastle, but you can do one for Aston Villa West Ham.
Of course. To be honest, mate, I agree with Rob. It's like the most 1-1 game you can ever get, I think.
But you would like West Ham to win, yeah? Yes, just say yes.
West Ham are more likely to be in mid-table than Aston Villa, who will probably be a fighting contender to stay up. So I want West Ham to win because Aston Villa are a likely relegation candidate, but that's the only reason.
And we don't like them.
And we don't like them.
My prediction is Aston Villa 1, West Ham United 2, if anybody's interested. My thanks to
Maybe not.
My thanks to Lee Law, my thanks to Kyle Thompson, and my thanks to Rob Spule on the Black and White show. My thanks to you for listening and for also watching, if you're watching on the stream, with your emails. Remember, it's contactnftvstudio@gmail.com if you want to be involved next week after Newcastle's game against Brighton. Thank you very much for listening.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust.